Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. In this first segment, viewers, we are chatting with Kurt Jack, and he's the president of the Radio Emergency Association Communications Team, known as R.E.A.C.T. And this morning we're speaking ready for Tobago Carnival 2023. And you're probably wondering, is R.E.A.C.T a band? Is R.E.A.C.T, what is R.E.A.C.T about? Well, this morning, Kurt Jack is here to tell us all about the organization. Good morning to you and welcome, sir.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning to your viewers.
Excellent. So as we get the conversation started this morning, so I want you first to help define for us the Radio Emergency Association Communications Team. Tell us a little bit about R.E.A.C.T.
It's Associated Communication Team.
Right.
R.E.A.C.T has been established here in Tobago since the 70s, the early 70s, right? And over the period, we have done two-way communications, like the fishing projects the fishing competitions that they had over the years. We actively involved in the Tobago Cycle Classic that just happened. And most of all, when there is emergencies like hurricanes and this sort of thing, we supply radio communication. We partner along with TEMA with regards to this. We have about 35 members at present, with about 12 to 15 that still actively involved in communication. Our last event that we were involved in was the Tobago Cycle Classics, which we covered for the 4 days, the races around the community here and around the island. We provide that by way two-way radio and the more active, or should I say, the social media platforms like Zello, which is a two-way radio app that we also use.
All right. Excellent. So naturally, bearing in mind the example you just gave us, tell us about the involvement in the Tobago Carnival. And we know that you are one of the stakeholders in terms of having been around the table and the planning process for the Tobago October Carnival that comes up shortly.
All right. Well, with regards to that, we basically the eyes and the ears of the Carnival Committee. What we will do at this point in time is really traffic back to control the command center that's involving, well, what we'd say, pass on this information that anything that is happening on the ground, you need to know the location of the bands at all point in time, so as to have a free flow around on the route at the point in time.
All right. So tell us, it gets very interesting. So is it that, how does this work particularly for R.E.A.C.T? You have your persons posted at various points. Just give us an idea for the benefit of our viewers and listeners.
At the point, what we will try to accomplish is having at least one person per band on the route. We at all times relay to command center where the bands are, so they could have an idea as to the location throughout the entire route.
All right, excellent. Why did R.E.A.C.T think it was important, particularly as an NGO, to get involved in the Tobago October Carnival?
Well, for instance, it's something that has been, let's use the National Carnival. We haven't been so actively involved in that here, right? But throughout Trinidad, for a number of years, this is what goes on. And along with TEMA and our goal commander, ACP Collis Haves, he said he did put in a plug saying that it is important that we have R.E.A.C.T because he knows the importance of it, as he has worked with it on the Trinidad end. We have done a bit of work here, for instance, Panorama, the last two panoramas
Yes.
here in Tobago. We worked with that. That's at the complex side. We worked with them, providing that same sort of information, so they know where the bands are at all point in time. You know when to call up a band, tell a band, well, all right, let's get going, so not to have the kind of delays that you normally have with bands.
Let me give you an opportunity, because I know the usual challenge for persons in NGOs
Yeah.
is funding to support what you do. How are you able to meet that expense? And more important, if you want to use it as a call this morning to
As,
remind persons that they can support, feel free to do so.
yes, and we would like people to support us in any way they can. We've been having a few new members, inquiring about us and, showing their interest in joining. Um, Among the members, we just deal with subscriptions,
Right.
and some of the same organizations contribute, because as it says, and they sometimes give us a little donation as to help us, because we need radios to continue the effort. And we always have to say thanks to Tima, who assists us a lot with regards to radios itself, the two-way radios. Some of our members have their own personal radios, which is very costly, but we will appreciate members or persons assisting us in any way they can. And feel free to call on us when you have your events, like small marathons and that sort of things, so you know what's happening at the start and at the end.
All right, and even along the way.
Along the day,
Very,
most of all.
very, very
Along the way,
important, because
most of
you
all.
touched on something
Yeah.
that I'm sure
Yeah.
many would like to hear, which is the issue of being able to effectively monitor bands
Yeah.
along the route. And very often you have that situation to ensure a smoother flow.
Yeah.
So therefore, there's certainly some level of confidence coming forward in persons this year to see that there's actually a dedicated entity on board as one of the stakeholders for the Tobago October Carnival that's going to assist in that regard. How do persons communicate, reach out to R.E.A.C.T, social media, telephone, email, any contacts at all for those who may be interested, as you indicated, in terms of following up on your services, even beyond just the Tobago October Carnival?
Yes. We could get, they could contact 742, correction, 742-3121. Right? So that's 742-3121. And we would give them all the information they need with regards to R.E.A.C.T and their involvement in whatever activity that they may have, or in joining the organization.
All right. Tell us, what can we certainly look forward to this time around with R.E.A.C.T's involvement? I know you're not the only one to ensure the success, but certainly as a major contributor, given what you are now bringing to the table as one of the stakeholders for the October Carnival.
One of the main things is to have a smooth flow of the bands from point A to point B, or as we say, along the route.
All right, excellent. Any additional information you'd like to share with our viewers before we close this morning?
Not at this point in time.
Not at this point in time. He's so confident and comfortable that that communication will flow. I want to say thank you very much, Jack, for joining us here on set this morning. R.E.A.C.T, one of the stakeholders participating in the Tobago October Carnival 2023, and this is the Radio Emergency Association Communications team really making that contribution, and we're recognizing critical at that. One of the efforts, we started off ACP, the division, and a number of key stakeholders are really playing that critical role along the pathway to ensure the successful delivery of the second execution of our Tobago October Carnival. Viewers, we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.